Ty Gibbs conducted a weird conference in which he likened himself to Jesus as a result of his strange conclusion that he must be Jesus Christ in order to explain how he could have crashed teammate Brandon Jones on the last lap of the Martinsville race.
Ty Gibbs, Noah Gregson making up row 1. Brandon Jones, Sheldon Creed make up row 2.
And yet gone on to win the race by himself. Ty Gibbs has been suspended from the team. When they neared turn 1 on the final lap, Gibbs purposely slammed into Jones's back bumper. Due to the impact, Jones was propelled up the track and against the outer wall. The race was called off for safety concerns after the incident, and Gibbs was declared the winner in compliance with NASCAR regulations. Audience members at Martinsville booed Gibbs for his unsportsmanlike celebration after he crashed with a teammate and went on to win. Many others cheered when someone said, "I appreciate it, grandfather." According to many fans, Ty Gibbs is able to race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series because of the support of his grandpa, NASCAR legend Joe Gibbs. The boos heard on SiriusXM NASCAR radio prompted post-race questions for Gibbs. Though I've made several attempts to put the poem, "What He Had to Say Was," in the past, I keep returning to that line. Most people have never before hated someone as much as they hated Jesus. In light of this, I think it's relevant to the discussion. There was total silence among the onlookers. To my mind, that's what it takes to make it as a professional athlete. Most likely, even the most deserving individuals will be met with boos at some point in their lives. Don't allow the views and critiques of others to dictate your course of action or diminish your sense of self-worth. Gibbs said he wasn't disturbed by the booing when questioned about it. Indulging in it would demonstrate how weak I am. Surely there is a lesson to be learned here. You, like me, will need to think carefully about your previous mistakes if you want to avoid making the same ones again. Claire Lang said, "Maybe I'd approach it differently next time," to which Gibbs replied, "That, or something like what occurred to me in Texas, or earlier this year when I was engaged in a fight. Sometimes the lessons you take away from life are the ones that hit you the hardest. When you don't let a victory bother you, it's just another victory." It's crazy that Gibbs would try to portray himself as Jesus by quoting from John chapter 15 verse 26. "You should know that the world hated me before it hated you. The world would love me more if you were one of its own. But because I took you from them and made you mine, they will always see you with suspicion." To begin with, Gibbs' actions were unfair. He defeated Jones in a calculated assault. Now he's playing the victim card in an effort to deflect the crowd's rightful wrath. He was the intended target. Just to be clear, Ty Gibbs is not a victim of anything. He intended to hurt Brandon Jones and really succeeded. Third, the poem's message runs counter to Gibbs' concern with money. The tape ends with him emphasizing the value of victory. Without this, all else is meaningless. If Gibbs is looking for a biblical reference, he should go elsewhere. Submit, therefore, to God's powerful hand, so he may raise you in his own time. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but whoever humbles himself will be exalted. So he should also consider Luke's teachings. Gibbs should also consider the verses in Philippians. Nothing should be done in a haughty or arrogant manner. Instead, everyone should look out for the interests of others as much as their own. Adopt the same perspective as your Lord Jesus Christ, who, although divine like God, did not want to replace God. Instead, he came to earth in human form and made his home with us. After being exposed, he proved his humanity by accepting death, even by hanging on a cross. Ty Gibbs has apologized for statements that came out the wrong way, in which he compared himself to Jesus Christ. On the last lap at Martinsville, Gibbs purposefully collided with teammate Brandon Jones to knock Jones out of the championship and give himself the title, drawing comparisons to Jesus Christ. If Jones prevails, he'll join Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry, and Noah Gregson in the finals. As Gibbs got out of his vehicle, the crowd booed him, and they were right to be upset by his lack of sportsmanship. Despite the passage of time, Gibbs has not modified his position. Fox Sports' Bob Pockras asked Gibbs whether he felt awful by comparing himself to Jesus Christ, and Gibbs said, "Absolutely, I agree. I didn't want to say it that way, but it seems like that's how it came out. From this point on, all I can do is be as alert as possible to my surroundings and my circumstances. NASCAR Truck Series driver Ben Rhodes asked, "Are you walking on water?" "Yes, I made a mistake, and I can't wait to get out of this jam I've gotten myself into," says Gibbs. The fan theory that Gibbs is a selfish brat prompted Pockras to confront Gibbs about his motivations. To everyone's surprise, Gibbs responded with a straight face. "I honestly do care about everyone else, and my actions placed me in this position. And if I hadn't done that, then we wouldn't have to be talking about this now. In order to make up for my past mistakes, I need to put in 110% moving ahead. Racing cars is the driving force behind my whole life. I invest all of my spare cash on my racing pastime. I put a lot of effort into it, since I know it's an era where I can improve." Pockras raised doubts about Gibbs' celebration, saying that he wouldn't have celebrated in that fashion if he hadn't intended to damage Jones. In addition, Gibbs added, "Like I said before, if I could redo the entire thing, I would. I couldn't handle the adrenaline rush at the moment. You can't expect to be a part of the action and come out on top without putting in some effort." From the standpoint of an outsider or a spectator, it is totally ludicrous and repulsive, he said. "I apologize. I wasn't thinking about how my words would come across to a teammate or sponsor and got caught up in the heat of the moment, including Brandon. And I did. I want to circle back to these themes in the future. I want to learn from this mistake so that I can avoid doing it again. I think I'm just being too aggressive in some of these situations, and I really want to win. But sometimes that's not the right thing to do," he says, explaining why he continues to get himself into trouble. "What I need to do from now on to prove my worth is just alter my behavior. I'd rather not have a reputation for dishonesty in the racing community. Being the target of the booing audience is an experience I'd rather avoid. To be the fan favorite, the fair play victor, and the champion is a goal of mine." He said, "Ultimately, it's all up to me. Although I have a fantastic crew backing me up from the pit box and the spotters stand, the fate of the race rests squarely on my shoulders." Can we expect his remarks to be more than empty promises, as they have been? Tell us in the comments, leave a like, and subscribe for more videos like this.